So to start things off, I ain't happy. And I want to share with you a bit of a backstory about me because this is going to tie into this whole retail thing and why I am planning my escape. So for starters, 2021, I fell in some serious hard times and I had to move back in with the parent, my mother, who I don't vibe out with, bro. Like we never got along. But it was the only choice I had at the time because I literally had no other option. Now, I had been away beforehand for 11 months in a totally different country where my family's from. And I experienced what it was like to have true freedom where, I was able to call my own shots. I woke up whenever I wanted to. I got to do the things that I want to do. And I also had a pretty good, colorful dating life. I was able to buy my own groceries. Rent was not that high, honestly. So I wasn't in such a fast-paced environment where I constantly had to always work all the time and stress about so many things. I was in another country for me and my twin brother. I was in another country for 11 months and it was great. It wasn't all great, but for the most part it was. Like, I was meeting new people, you know what I mean? I was going to new places. Shit, I even had a job lined up that was gonna pay me enough to afford rent and still be good because I had a pretty good savings as well. So then I had to come back due to circumstances out there, which maybe one day I'll get into in another video. But for that case, I had to come back and I had to move back in because when I was there and when I saw how great it was, I felt like maybe I could possibly live out there. So I was out there for 11 months. So I came back. I had to move back in with family members that I don't really vibe out with, bro. Like we cool, but we're not that cool. You know what I mean? But especially with my mother. I had to live in this situation for 4 years. 4 years, dude. Okay? And the first 3 years, I had some money saved up and I spent all of it practically on drinking. Okay? Rough. Now, some of it went on business ventures that didn't go so well, but I pretty much spent all my money on drinking and I had to start from the complete bottom. So 2024 came and I remember going into my brother's room and saying, yo, man, we gotta be honest with ourselves. We gotta get a job, bro. We gotta get something going on. So that way we're not broke. I remember, I think it was like, I had like $3 to my name, dude. And I had to face the music and get a job. So not really name, I don't want to name the spot that I ended up going to work at, but it's a clothing store. And I started around June of 2024. And when I got the job and when I saw the environment there, well, what's crazy was, I guess to add on more of a backstory with this one is, I had gotten hired at another spot. Same company, but different location. And I wasn't feeling the vibe. So yeah, same company, different location. And I wasn't feeling it. Like dead ass, I wasn't feeling it. Like I had walked in, I had gotten hired on the spot and I wasn't feeling it. I was like, I can't bring myself to work at this place, man. Like the people there, I was already getting attitude from some of them. You know what I mean? Like it just didn't feel like the atmosphere that I wanted to be in. And of course I understood what I was walking into because, working retail, this was not my first rodeo spin. You know what I mean? Working retail. So I had tried a different location and they hired me on the spot there as well. And I started like about maybe two or 3 weeks afterwards. And when I walked in, it was great. The vibes was good. You know what I mean? Co-workers was cool, at least in the beginning. I worked there and as the months went by, I slowly started to realize that, well, here, okay, when I started working there, initially I was like, you know what, I could see myself doing this for like 3 years. Maybe I could become manager. So I was dead ass thinking about settling for this job and trying it out, right? But mind you, I already had experience what it was like to live in another country. So when I started working this job, I had to go from calling my own shots to now being ordered around by a manager who was around the same age as me. And sometimes even some of the coworkers having to, tell me how to do this and how to do that. And, some of them having an attitude as well. And me being 34 years old, it was like, how did I bring my life to this point, bro? And why is it at this point? And I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I take full accountability for how my life turned out. And I made mistakes. So this is why I didn't want to sit here and make this into a whole pity party, because I'm able to hold myself accountable for what went wrong and how I can change moving forward. So long story short, bro, I worked the job for about a year and I watched it change. Management changed hands. People started switching up. I was chasing after every bi-weekly paycheck and I was broke every single time before the payday came, because I was basically having to step out my house and buy basic necessities. Groceries was hella expensive. Just in general, dude, just to do shit around you is just expensive. And I remember me and my twin brother went to a lounge. And I'm like, bro, that whole day, from the Uber ride to the hookah we had bought, and I think even a couple of bottles of water, all that, and then the Uber ride coming back home, bro, that shit was like $100+, dude. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing this again, bro. I'm not doing this. I couldn't bring myself to continue to live like that, bro. When I started working retail, bro, I started to see exactly what the situation was. There were so many people who were in my exact same situation, who was broke after every paycheck, who was just grinding hours on end, 40+ hours a week for a paycheck that barely lasted them, for groceries, for rent. You can't even buy a decent apartment out here. And mind you, bro, when I was living in another country, rent for me was $700. Then I was able to talk to the woman and I was able to bring it down to $400. Groceries, $100 for that lasted me like 2 weeks. Apartment, bro, we had 2 living rooms. We had 3 bedrooms, 2.5 full bathrooms, a garden, in a private area, armed security, safe. And I was only paying like initially $700 and then it went down to $400. Bro, out here in the States, you cannot get that. You cannot get an apartment that size for $400. Like you're gonna be living in a hood somewhere, bro. I don't even think the hood would even have that kind of, like a house or an apartment for $400+, bro, a month. Working this job made me realize how unhappy so many people are. And I didn't want to work this job for 3 goddamn years. I was already living in the States for almost 4 years, dude. And I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to live and do the same shit anymore, bro. Especially when I experience freedom. There's a whole world out there. So that's when I started devising a plan, bro. A strategy or a blueprint or whatever, bro. I had to figure out a way to devise this plan. So that way, when I do go to another country, it's not on some fixed income. Like I'll have money coming in, like dollars, recurring. So that way, I'm able to move around. I don't have to stress, oh, how are we gonna eat this week? No, because I don't want to go through the same thing here overseas. You feel me? So that's why, like I said, I already have a plan in place so that I can actively say, I'm about to leave this job. They got me out here working once a week, bro. They got me out here getting paid $16 an hour, bro. And they got me out here working once a week. I can't even get an apartment if I wanted to, bro. So that keeps me stuck, living in a situation, living in an environment where I don't want to be around that. This is why I've been advocating about core values, man. So I devised my own plan so that way I can quit this job and I can finally start traveling again. So as of lately, it's been easier. It's been much easier to kind of ride the wave, weather the storm. So my message to you guys is, if you feel that you're not happy at your current job that you're working, you have to find whatever it is, some type of thing, whatever it is that you're good at, some type of passion or something, a business model, a business plan, something that will allow you to get paid online and you can be anywhere around the world while doing it. That's what I'm doing now. Right? They have remote jobs, but that's not what I'm doing, because remote jobs don't give you that flexibility. It's like so important, bro, because you don't want to be in these jobs 5-10 years. There's so many people who are working these jobs 5-10 years. So I can honestly say that I'm going to quit this job very, 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 very soon. And I'm going to be able to start traveling again. There's so much of a world out there, especially coming from somebody like me who experienced freedom before. Do not let whatever situation you got going on, whether you're living at home still, whether you're working at jobs that you can't stand, do not let that shit chip away at your spirit. And there's going to be some tough times. There's going to be some dark times. So I don't want to make this video too long, bro. I want you guys to understand that there's a world out there. Do not give up on what you're passionate about. Do not give up on those hopes and dreams, dude. These jobs are designed to destroy you, to destroy that hope. That's my video, man. I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. I got more coming up. I just wanted to kind of make this video so that you guys can understand where I'm coming from.